What is going on, guys? Pumson87 here, and today I'm here with yesterday's race review of the Malaysian Grand Prix. This is round number 16, 15, something like that, of the Aussie Sim Racing Australian Racing League. And Malaysia is a track I'm pretty comfortable with, I'm pretty pleased with. I've done quite a bit of practice and I feel pretty comfortable in the race sims. Nice easy two-stop strategy if it was fully dry conditions. Now unfortunately in qualifying it actually rained like a few minutes in, and I'd actually gone out on the prime tyres and delivered the most awful lap I think I've ever done. So I qualified down to P13. I think it was like the second last of all the dry runners who set lap time during the session, so it's a bit disappointing, but importantly means I can start on the prime or the hard tyres, which will benefit me later on. And there's the first incident right there on the parade lap. I'm not sure what Zonky was doing, unfortunately. He had no right to pass me, and he just sent me into the barrier. So that's a bit unfortunate. That's parade lap over. Now we'll get kicking things off for the race start. So we want to keep things nice and clean, keep out of trouble, go into the first corner. So it's lights out now, and away we go. P13 on the grid. We've got XR Shadows ahead. Coronel Stray had a little glitch, so we had a little bit of breathing space from behind. We've got Red Bull behind. We're in a bit of a breathing space at the moment, so we're going to keep things nice and cautious going to the first corner. As it got, a car went round the inside and smashed into a few people. We had to brake and lock up to avoid hitting the back of X-Vitro. That's kind of scary. Now going around the outside of quite a few people, going for turn 2. XR Shadows there gets a better run out of that corner, gets ahead of us. But we're into P9, so it's a pretty good start so far, it's got to be said. And we've got a full front wing somehow, remarkably, which is what we wanted. Definitely in contrast to a lot of these races so far in this league. We actually have a full front wing. And we've gained quite a few positions off the start line, which is what we wanted for the start of this race. And now we've got two cars going side by side. That's X-Harley and Fitcher's been sent off into the grass there. That was a very controversial instance, which was talked about a lot after the race. But now we're into P7. Now, wow, we're getting really a lot of time so far. It's been a very lucky start for us, as we're behind XR Shadows is looking quite vulnerable, really. But you want to keep things nice and cautiously, as those guys ahead have to pit in the next 5 or so laps. We can keep going for like double that length. We can keep going to at least lap 10. And then by then we'll be receiving the race lead, and we're on a better, more durable strategy. To go up the inside of XR Shadows there, runs wide. Greek Master 99 also run wide. We have to actually compromise our exit there, as we had to sort of avoid him. And that's put XR Shadows right on the back of us in the slipstream. We've got 3 cars abreast up ahead. As it got McLaren there, broke early. We almost tapped the back of the Force Indians. We broke very late for some reason, I'm not quite sure why. And that's given XR Shadows a good run up our inside there. As we're going down the start finish straight. Ward 99 in the lead. It's at the fastest lap of the race. Obviously it's lap 1. I mean, of course the person in the lead would. Anyway, we're going down the inside of the Haas driver, XR Shadows. We're just trying to be cautious, not trying to hit the back of the McLaren there. So holding it round the outside of the Haas. There's good racing style between me and XR Shadows as we go through the first sector. We've got a car behind, I think that's Brock, as we're going towards turn 3, or is it turn 4. We brake late, there's a little bit of contact, side by side contact, and he gets forced out a little bit wide there. I think he turned in slightly too early, and I think I slightly outbraked myself. Bit of a mutual incident there. Now we've got the first of several replay clips. This is on board of iVixer, who qualified about P7, trying to hold around the outside of turn 1. And unfortunately, there's the Ferrari of Pepsi, who slightly outbroke himself. Actually, I think he said he had grass in his tyres from the parade lap, and he completely lost all braking performance going to turn 1 and smashed a few people off, unfortunately. This is on board of Customs, and he actually had a very good start up into P3 by turn 3, by turn 2, sorry. As behind the 2 leaders of Warden 99 and Greek Master 99, who are the pretty much the top 2 in terms of pace in this league so far. As he's trying to take advantage of the battles ahead, but unfortunately a bit of a rash mistake there by Customs, gets a little bit too hot into turn 4. Sometimes it's good to be cautious. Well, sometimes it's good to be aggressive, sometimes it's good to be cautious. And it's a real act deciding which time you've got to be for each there, as I'm not sure what sort of line we took around the penultimate corner. It's a very dodgy one, as KMP4 there was lagging a little bit. Allowed Brock to go around our outside. We're going to dive up the inside of Brock going to the final corner. Luckily he saw us coming and left a little bit of room there, so thanks for that. And now we're in the slipstream going towards the end of lap 2, start lap 3. The ERS is available on the end of this lap. as we got the slipstream going down the inside into turn 1, nice and clean braking, didn't outbrake ourselves into the side of the Toro, so there, as he's still on the inside, we're leaving room on the inside of turn 2, I know he's going to dove the inside there, as he's on the soft tyres, so he's putting a little bit better traction than us. Yeah, he's slightly ahead, he's got about half a car ahead going to turn 4, now we've got a full car ahead, thinking about dive up the inside, but remember we're trying to keep things nice and cautious through the first couple of laps here, as the soft guys there, they're going to pit anyway in a few laps time. As Brock there actually made a bit of a mistake, ignore the cautious thing I was talking about, we go up your inside, very opportunistic, very brave move actually, going through that very fast left-hander, and somehow we both kept it on the road. It was very good driving there from both of us, I suppose. I'm not trying to be modest, but unfortunately that's left us vulnerable to 3 cars behind. They all have DRS. I'm the only one who does not. Greek Master 99 and Brock goes up her inside. We're going to switch back on Brock, but unfortunately we're the only one in these couple of cars that don't have bloody DRS, and we're just sandbagging on the straight now. So that move on Brock there kind of let us down, as we probably should have waited behind and got the DRS off him. Then he would have been the sitting duck down the straight. So trying to get back past All Ground Cricketer B sort of blocks us off. We were trying to do a switchback move through turn 2, but he tried exactly the same thing. As you may have noticed, but what the hell happened to Brock there? I'm not sure, but he just literally disappeared from thin air. I don't know, but there's Brock actually, as on board of Jordan Gibbs. As he comes back on the track slightly dangerously, nearly into the path of Jordan Gibbs. But I don't know what the hell happened to you, Brock, there. If you want to let us know, just leave in the comment section below. But unfortunately, that's KMP4 who was a bit vulnerable to some lag there. I think it damaged his car quite a bit, and he was went into the side, into the grass. And that's now us up into P4. And now make that P2 as the 2 guys ahead. We clung onto them through the rest of the first stint of All Round Cricketer and Greek Master 99. Now we're into P2. Make that P1. We're leading the race for the first time, I think, in the league, actually. So we're on the hard tyres. So the first one on the hard tyres. There's a couple of other guys behind us who we're actually sort of racing for this race. We've got PPRL Pepsi. We've got my pet Zonky Bros on the medium tyres. And I think my teammate of Formula Fish is also on the hard tyres as well. Now, as you saw there, my tyres were on 71% the highest amount. Now, really, with hindsight, we probably should extend this stint 1 lap longer. But hindsight is a wonderful thing, and I was just very worried about punctures in this game. I knew you can get them around 75% sometimes, and I knew that it would reach 75% on the next lap. But really, chances are I probably would have been fine, and that would have benefited me later in the race, as you're about to see in a few minutes' time. Now, we're on our second set of hard tyres. We're going to merge on the track now in P6, just behind All Round Cricketer and Green Master 99. We're still battling, I think. But in front of Pepsi, actually, Pepsi just pitted with me, so we're in front of X-Fitcher now on the road, who's doing a very long second stint on the hard tyres. But he's got much older tyres than us, so we easily stay ahead of him through the rest of the lappers. Come the end of lap 12, we set personal best. And we're just sort of in no man's land at the moment. So we're behind the top guys who have to pit again. Now, one thing I didn't mention is that rain is forecast to arrive in about 10 minutes' time from when you're seeing now. And we are quite far ahead of the chasing pack, which include Pepsi and Zonky, who I just mentioned before. So we actually emerged in a very good position, as these guys behind are all battling, and it would have been very costly if I was in this massive train I was in. As you can see there, Zonky and Pepsi there had a little bit of coming together. I think that was all Zonky's fault, though. Just understeered a little bit on the exit. But as you can see, it would have cost me a lot of time, maybe even damage and stuff, if I had been in that train. So lucky I emerged out where I was. And now, come the end of lap 19, we're now into P4. Make that P2, as the guys ahead had to pit, as they started on the soft tyres, and they couldn't stretch their hards out any longer. So we are in a net second place. Well, Warden 99 actually just stretched off into the distance. There's no catching him. I think he's a couple of seconds. Actually, he hasn't pitted yet, as I mentioned there. But unfortunately, we are on 72% tyre wear. The rain is literally only now just started to fall. We can do pretty much a maximum of 1 more lap on these tyres before they might get punctured. So unfortunately, we can only do 1 more lap, and the rain just isn't falling hard enough. We're trying desperately to keep our tyres, even though we make a little mistake there, running slightly into the grass with our left front. That's not going to have tyre wear at all. And that allows Pepsi to go up the inside of us, as he was catching through the second half of that stint, as I saw the tyre wear, and I was just trying everything to preserve them. But it just wasn't enough. At the end of this lap, I have to pit. But what for? Should I pit for the soft tyres? Should I pit for the inters? So Pepsi stays out for another lap, just about. I don't know how he can hang on to his tyres. I spoke to him after the race, and he actually had very similar tyre wear with me, and he risked it. Risked the possibility of a puncture, and went for another lap. And then pitted on his intermediate tyres. But because the rain is just starting to fall now, it's still way too early, but we have to go on the intermediate tyres. We just have to. If we go on the soft tyres, it's going to waste us another 20 seconds, then we just have to pit in like 2 laps time. So we have to risk it, we have to go on the intermediate tyres through to the end of the race. Even though it probably is the wrong decision for now, I mean, it is going to cost us a hell of a lot of time, because the track is nowhere near intermediate performance level. I mean, look at the lack of grip through turn 1. We've got 2 cars up ahead, there's Master Berserk, and I believe the other one is Got Gecko, as he slightly blocked the Force India driver there. We just have no grip. We simply have no grip, but that's the only thing we could have done. Now you see why I said that going an extra lap in the first stint would have been crucial. That would have decided it. And by the end of the next lap, I would have been perfectly fine for going. End of this lap, would have been perfectly fine to pit for the inters. But unfortunately, that's a Williams driver, Got Gecko there, who's completely crashed out onto the side of the road. We're going to have a replay in a second, see what happened to him, because that's a very unfortunate incident. But I don't know why, just tyre wear plagued us the entire race. You can see the lack of grip, we're being so cautious, so tentative on the tyres. I'm losing so much time. But now we're on board with Got Gecko, and as you can see, this is a turn 1, and me just completely having no grip on the intermediate tyres, as the Williams and the Force India there completely battling away, as the wet track is starting to get a little bit more slippery for the slick runners. But as you can see there, how much they pulled away from me there, just going up turn 3. And unfortunately, that is a very unfortunate incident for Got Gecko. Just an innocent bystander there to the lag and the glitches that are in this game, unfortunately. So it's very unfortunate. Now, at the end of lap 22, we've got Customs all over the back of me. As you can see there, Pepsi just came out of the pit lane about 10 seconds ahead. We've lost literally about 10-15 seconds from not one lap alone to the guy we were racing, pretty much. That's how much one lap would have made a difference-wise. And that's just cost us massively, unfortunately, for the rest of this race. And it's ruined our tyres, as you're about to see later on as well. But at least this lap, it is starting to get a little more slippery, as Customs isn't pulling away from me quite as quickly as the other 2 guys did before. In fact, by the end of this lap, we're catching him. We've caught right up to the back of him. We've got DRS still, as it hasn't quite been deactivated yet. And we're looking to get a move, really, into the final corner, unless he's peeling off to the pit lane. We're going to have a dive anyway. But he is indeed peeling off to the pit lane for a set of intermediate tyres. So at least we're going to be a good 20 seconds ahead of him. And we're going to be in the point still, solid point still, as I've got to add. As there's a few more people in the pits. Where are we going to be? P9? Is that going to be P8? P8, P7. There's 2 guys there just emerging in the pits. Looks like iVixer and Xfitcho. But unfortunately, they're going to be a much fresher intermediate tyres. And they probably have a bit more pace than me as well, let's be honest. They're going to be very tough to keep behind. As you can see, half a lap later, iVixer's already caught way up to the back of us, as we have pretty much no braking performance in the wet conditions, or the intermediate conditions. And he just follows the inside. We didn't really put up much of a fight, as there's still 5 laps left to go of this race. And my tyres felt awful. I must have been that first lap in the dry conditions, just completely ruined my tyres. Just threw them right at the window of performance. As behind us now, we've got Xfitcho, who's looking more inside towards the penultimate corner. We're just about leaving enough room there to hold it round his outside, really costing him here in the championship battle with his rival, which is just up the road, having just overtaken me. So I've been a bit cheeky there towards Xfitcho, and he was, I wasn't a party with him, and he was yelling me to let him pass, but I wasn't having any of it. But I didn't really put up too much of a fight either, as he dives on the inside towards turn 4. It's a good move by him, actually. He broke very nicely. And I tried to do the switchback on him, but I just had no traction. I just have no grip from these tyres. They're falling away with every second, and yeah, I just have no grip. But fortunately for us, my Pep Zonky Bro is quite a way down the road behind us, which is just as well, as our tyre wear has gone through the roof. Once again, 77%! How does it even get to that much? It must have been those first 2 laps in the dry, well, pretty much drying conditions. As all-round cricketer there has retired from the race. I think at the penultimate corner. I'm not quite sure what happened to him. I don't know If he has a collision or if he bottled it himself, but that's a bit unfortunate for him. As this going across the line for the final lap of the race, can we just about survive without a puncture? Looks like we have, just about. Very close though. We actually lost 3 seconds alone to Zonky on that last lap, as we were just nursing the tyres to the end, keeping them nice and intact. The P7 at the end of the race isn't too bad. I mean, if it wasn't for one or two calls by me, we could have got P3, P4 maybe. So that's a little unfortunate, but we did actually have quite a bit of luck this race. We survived the entire race without actually having front wing damage, which is pretty rare for me, it's got to be said, in this league. No glitches, no funny business wasn't taken out, so that's a positive at least. And we had fairly decent pace, just the tyre wear was extreme. I don't know what it is about it. Maybe it's this track or something, I don't know what it is, but the tyre wear was just a killer today. But Warden Knights down there won the race ahead of Pepsi. We were battling and racing pretty much the entire that race. So, I mean, he finished P2. If we made just a few, slightly different calls, we could have been up there in P2, P3. With my teammate, actually, Formula Fisher, who got 3rd place, so congrats to him. As he did a very similar strategy to me and Pepsi as well, as he qualified outside the top 10, like both of us. But, yeah, that's a pretty good race, pretty clean race nonetheless. Hope you guys enjoyed. The next race is Japan this Sunday at 5 PM, so hopefully that'll be a good race as well, and hopefully be nice and clean. I'll get a good result like this, and hopefully good points as well. So I'll see you guys then for the next race. I'll see you then. Poms out.